It has been a while since we have made a vlog style video here in the city.
Yes.
And since today is a very special day, because today marks the 35th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. And right now, we're at a pretty busy and popular spot, which is Kudam,
Yeah.
one of the main tourist shopping streets. But I wanted to start here because of this little thing, which I've talked about many times before, which is called the Broken Church.
Yeah.
And as you can see, it's broken, and it was sort of partially destroyed during the war, and they never put it back together. But today, I wanted to take you along with us to a very special sort of exhibition. It's celebrating Berlin in the 90s, right after the fall of the Berlin Wall, captured in photos. And I thought it'd be a perfect opportunity to show sort of the audience and the people on my channel what Berlin looked like in the 90s, because I've never really seen it either. And I think Berlin in the 90s is probably the most special time.
Yes.
Because it was when the city became whole again,
Yeah.
because it was two countries before. And this area is actually the American sector
Yeah.
that we're in. So let's head over there and I will show you where we're going.
Spent the last year chasing myself. Take me to a better place where love's something else.
Okay, so as we're trying to make our way to the main location where we're gonna be heading today, I saw some billboards of what the church used to look like before it was destroyed. So I wanted to quickly show you that. So that's the church, and that is where the tower was destroyed. And here's a view of it from the main street. So it's pretty wild that the church is still up, and they've sort of left it as a little historical landmark
Yeah, like a
of,
memorial.
of what happened in the past. So we've made it to where we need to be today. Right now we are at Care of Berlin, which is an exhibition space for photographers and visual artists. And the base of Care of Berlin is at the America House. And this house was built in 1956 in the United States American sector.
Ah, yeah.
Because I don't know if we talked about it before, and I don't know if you're familiar with Berlin, but Berlin was divided after the war into 4 zones, which was the Russian zone, the American zone, the French zone, and the British zone. So this is where the America House was, and it was originally built for culture and arts and entertainment for all the American people. It used to house a theater, and then it went defunct for a little while, and then they reopened it as just a place for amazing visual arts and photography. So this is where the exhibition is for Berlin in the 90s. It's called Dream on Berlin, and we're going to check out and hopefully be inspired by some of these amazing photos from the 90s, because as we know, the 90s was definitely one of the best eras out there,
Yes.
music and culturally. Now, if you've never been to Berlin, the city celebrates and commemorates the wall in all sorts of different ways. The one that you're probably most familiar with and is the most famous is the East Side Gallery, which has kept up a portion of the wall for artists to create murals on. They also have a museum where they go into more about the history and the struggle during that time. But one of the most unique things I have found when I first moved here was that all along the city, they show where the Berlin Wall used to be. And there is this cool plate showing the time where the wall was up. This weekend has also been filled with so many events, like the photo event that we're at right now. And it's been filled with 4 kilometers of posters of where the wall used to be, celebrating sort of the freedom and the uniting of the city. And the whole weekend has been special, filled with music and live events celebrating the 35th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. As you can see, the mural still exists to this day from when it was created in 1989. So 35 years later, all the murals are still upkept. And we wanted to come down to the Berlin Wall to see these murals in person and to really feel that these experiences and the way the city was then, parts of it still is here. Now, I thought the photo exhibition was absolutely amazing. It really captured this amazing journey of when the wall fell to sort of the current times. And what I found the most interesting thing about that is a lot of the photos from sort of the late 90s, the fashion and style is coming back around now, about 30 years later. It was so interesting to see that sort of loop. Mm-hmm. What did you think?
I thought it was so interesting to see the turmoil that was going on, because I think thinking back, you always thought, oh yeah, the wall fell, now everything is good. But there was still so much going on for so many years.
Right. It was the 2 different countries, mm-hmm. Not even just cities. There were 2 separate countries and 2 separate ways of doing things trying to come back together. Now, one theme that kept coming up is this idea of flux. They kept using that word because when the 2 countries became one again and Berlin became a single city, they were still trying to figure out what things to change, how to combine things, how to make things better. And living here.
Yeah, I think we feel it today still. Like, it feels like the city is still in flux many times.
Yeah, there are times where the city still feels like 2 different countries.
Yeah.
And there's a beauty and there's a bit of a
frustration too
in that as well. But as you can see, like, look at this wall. They still try to preserve it. And it's so beautiful. You still get to see some of these things. And I love that they have tried to preserve some of it. Now, if you're watching this video and you're wondering what lens is he using to get these shots, yes, it's on purpose. The semi-fisheye look and the vignette. It's been a while since I've vlogged in the city, and because I knew I was making a video about us going to see Berlin in the 90s, I thought it'd be cool to use a lens that gave me this sort of 90s skater video, music video sort of look. And the lens that I'm using is the Sony 11mm 1.8 in full frame mode with no stabilization on to get this look. And I feel like a lot of people might be asking me what the lens was, so I just wanted to address that right now really quickly. Even though they try their best to preserve some of the city, there has to be change eventually. And sometimes that's really good, and sometimes it's not so good. Like in the area that we're in, there was a lot of nothing. Mm-hmm. So now that they've tried to rebuild a lot of the stuff, the buildings look sort of new and modern. And that's fine. It looks like most normal cities, but Berlin has a lot of historical buildings that, as you saw in some of the photos, a lot of people were squatting in.
Yes.
And sometimes those buildings, rather than being restored, they just get destroyed for newer buildings, and it's pretty sad. And sometimes they do have a developer come in and restore that. And so the city starts to develop these beautiful green spaces. There's some preservation, and unfortunately there is some modernization, sometimes good as well. But what I like most is the whole idea of the exhibition being called Dream On, and the city also feels that way. There's always new things popping up. There's always new opportunities and spaces that are being revitalized so that a young entrepreneur or a family that's always had a dream to build a business of some sort can go in
You can
and do that.
fulfill that dream.
Yeah, and it's so amazing to be in a city where you constantly see things coming up and things to explore. We constantly are saying how the city feels impossible to see everything. And so for me, the two biggest things that this experience brought me by going to this exhibition today was, one, take as many photos as possible, document, save for your memories, for your kids, for your family, share them, print them, share them. And the second thing is, if you have a dream, I think you go after it. So with that said, I hope you liked this video. I hope you liked coming to the exhibition at Care of Berlin. And if you did, consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel. It's so great to be back and make a vlog and to share more of the city with you guys, because I do love doing it. And that's pretty much it. So until the next one, as always, live passionately.
Stay inspired.
Bye.